Okay, we're back. A bit intrusive, but why don't you? I recently hired a personal chef, something that's really changed my life. Did you ever get Jupiter a sibling? You guys, I don't care. I'm just gonna say it. Yeah. Hello, you guys. Welcome to a little get ready with your girl. I feel like we're just gonna hang out, enjoy each other's company. I have a little tea, offline humans tea, coming soon. I'm feeling really chill today, which is really nice. Recently, when I've been putting on the camera, I've been feeling like anxious and like I don't really know how to talk to you guys. But today I'm feeling good. So look how cute this is. Rare Beauty sent me this. I don't know, I just thought we'd FaceTime together and hang out. I asked you guys on Instagram, just catch up with me. First of all, if you've been keeping up with us over on TikTok and Instagram, yes, we are getting somebody to recreate our wedding cake because as you know, or you may not, Dennis and I never got to try it. There is a video clip of Dennis and I literally cutting the exchange, the picture, and then that's it, girl. I went to go say hello to all the guests and we forgot. So we're finally doing that and I'm very, very excited. It's gonna be cool to just kind of like sit down and be like, oh my god, this was our wedding cake. I've seen Lauren Giraldo's face and she is freaking snatched. She uses a gua sha and I'm convinced. I'm like, I gotta start doing this. As part of my nighttime routine, I'm gonna sit down and just watch a bunch of gua sha videos, like how to get real snatched. I just want to take my time with you today, you know, just like relax. Hola, I love your videos and I'm kind of new, but what was your dream job? Okay, let's take it way back, girl. When I think about my childhood, which is very odd, like in the sense, I always wanted to be a pilot. That was like the first real thing I ever wanted to do, which I don't really feel falls in line with me at all because I'm afraid of heights. I don't like making a lot of decisions and it wouldn't have worked out. Second to that, I wanted to be an actress. I wanted to be like Hilary Duff. Growing up, you see all these girls and you're like, oh my god, that seems like such a fun job. But now that I've been doing more of like the entertainment business, that wouldn't have been for me either. Like, I'm very much, I like being at home. I don't really like going to like events. Even with YouTube and all this stuff, there's a lot of, yeah, like I don't know, I'm not really about that as much as I thought I was. I'm not gonna lie to you, like my dream job was to be a YouTuber, which is really, it sounds kind of lame, but also it's kind of cute. Is that all right? Is that okay if I say that? I really fantasized with just having my own channel and just speaking to the camera. And it wasn't even about accumulating a huge following or anything like that. I truly I admired Michelle Phan so much. And just all of the girls, Dulce Candy, you know, Bethany Moda, and oh my gosh, just like all of it. Like I just thought it was such a fun job. Oh my god, I totally forgot sunscreen, girl. I've been trying to keep up. I've been trying to keep up with the sun. YouTube is no longer like my main thing, but I do remember when it really was my everything. Like it was my everything. I'm really happy that I got to experience that. I'm also happy I got to just like take a step back because you guys, YouTube is a lot of freaking work. Social media is a lot of work. There's a lot that unless you're actually in it, you don't really realize, you don't really see. Oh, this is my dream job. That's so cool. And I'm actually gonna be hitting my 10-year anniversary literally in a month. Oh, that's special. What's your favorite food to cook or bake? My favorite food to cook or to bake, I'll be honest with you, girl. I recently hired a personal chef. And he's been amazing. I mean, what do I say? What a doll. What a true doll. Anything that he cooks is amazing. I've told him, I'm like, hey, do you want to literally be on camera? Like, I would love to give you a shout out. You're amazing. Right now, my goal is to get toned. He's really given me like all those cute Caesar salads and like lasagnas and just like the good stuff. You know, he's a really good cook. Forever to find him, but here we are, ladies and gents. Best investment of my life? I don't really cook, but if I am baking, I do like to get down and bake. And what I like to bake, I have these pumpkin muffins that I bake literally for everything and anything. I need to like kind of get a few other recipes up my sleeve because it's all I take to like family events or anytime I go to a friend's house. And like the first few times it's cute and people always love them. Like they always speak to me about them. For example, my friend Jennifer, she's like, Natalie, are you making the pumpkin muffins? It's really cute. I'll put up the recipe here in case you want to take it. Actually, I'll link the recipe below because it's not even my recipe. So I will put it there. I bought this really cute little cookbook and whenever I just want to relax, unwind, I'll make pumpkin muffins. It's my favorite thing. What's more beautiful than like the smell of pumpkin? Like it's so fall. It's so cozy. It's so amazing. I like share a bit with Jupiter and it's just such a cute little ritual. So I really like it. Yeah, you guys can see a little bit more sneak peeks of him on my Instagram. You guys have said he's a little attractive, so I don't know. He's single. Was there ever a time where you were terrified of the future? If so, how did you deal with it? Girl, there has been so many. When has there not been? I can pinpoint 100. I'm always terrified of the future if I'm being 100, but here's the thing. I feel like the closer I get to God, the more, and like my spirituality, I realize God literally tells you, drop all your fears, like put them onto me. This is not for you to carry. Worry about today. Today has its own issues and problems. Whenever I find myself being far away from God, like I have my moments where I feel like I'm very in line with my Lord and Savior. And I have other moments, like recently I've been feeling a little bit just like I haven't been giving him time. I haven't really been reading my Bible. I've been a little bit more distracted, and that's okay. Like there's flows and it's important to acknowledge, but when that does happen, I find myself really gravitating towards fear, anxiety, and God doesn't want us to live like that. Something that's really changed my life is I recently started going to church. I think it's funny because I feel like, I mean, it's true what they say. God changes you. God changes people. And he has changed me. Dennis is going to be editing this. Now he's going to be like rolling his eyes, like editing this. He's like, this is kind of weird. What I want to say about that is, what do I want to say about that? I forgot. I'm going to be excited. Man, I tend to forget a lot. I really got to be having my fish oil. I think the biggest, like most recent thing that I can think of, it was just like my niece and like my family situation with her passing and that loss in our life. I really was like, are we going to ever see better days? Because when you lose someone, you know, grief is such a hard thing. It's such a roller coaster. And it's also just something that you're just not taught to deal with death. You're not. And so I really did question, oh, where's the light in the end of this tunnel? Oof, that was rough, girl. That was rough. How did I deal with it? God, my faith, my family. But even then, sometimes even your family can't help you. Like God really helps. What inspired you to dress fancy no matter the occasion? I want to have your confidence. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. Look at this outfit. Dun. I'm wearing slippers. Do not be fooled, girl. Do not be fooled. Half the time has inspired me recently to dress up. I feel like tomorrow is not promised. I feel better when I look great. Oh my God, it's thundering. Ay, ay, ay. And you know he hates thunder. Oh girl, listen, every day in Florida, sorry to interrupt the little motivational speech. That sounds terrible. Okay, we're back. Florida is wild, as you might have heard on the news. It's a wild place to be. I think working from home has really been inspiring because the times that I first wouldn't get ready for the day and just kind of go about my day, I feel like even my habits get worse, the way that I eat gets worse, my confidence in myself gets worse, my self-worth, all this stuff. So I feel like dressing up is almost like making your bed, where it's an act of self-respect for myself. Just every day should feel special, and you know, if you can decorate yourself and feel really great about the way that you're expressing yourself to the world, I think it's a beautiful thing. I encourage you to do it. I'm not gonna lie to you, like I freaking hate planning my outfits. I don't do that. I don't do that. But I do rent outfits off NUULY, which I love. And can you guys please just use my code? I've been wanting to work with them. I don't know if they work with creators, but yeah, I use NUULY. I rent them for $100 a month and I get like 6 different outfits out of it, which is really great. It helps me with just like content. It also just helps me in general because I do not like to shop. Tell them that I sang Natalie's Outlet, okay? Natalie's Outlet, link below. I think I'm gonna do a sultry eye, even though I'm going to Pilates. Like, should I even? Why not? Today is a special day. Jupiter's super alert right now. Ay, que pecado mi gordito. He's literally shaking. Mommy's here. Ay, que pecado. He's such a scaredy cat. He really is. What's Florida summer weather like? There you saw it. You would never expect it to rain so much as it does literally every single day. But it's hot, it's humid, it's uncomfortable, and it rains. Which the only benefit I would say is you don't have to water your plants. So girl, grow plants. Have you been seeing all of the gorgeous plants I've been blooming? I'm not having to shop for plants. They come fresh from my garden. It's the most beautiful and honestly enriching life thing I've done. Did you ever get Jupiter a sibling? I have been asked this plenty and plenty of times, and I think I've answered it plenty of times. Yes, of course, but I'm not going to. The reality of the matter is that an animal is a big responsibility. I don't know what it is, but I don't enjoy the puppy phase. Like, I think it's adorable, yes, but I'd much rather get a grown man that's trained, that you don't have to deal with the potty training, the nibbling of corners in your house. Like, I don't think that time is fun It's not cute. It looks cuter than it is, but it really isn't. I don't want to go through that again. Also, Jupiter is just kind of, he's an old little man. I think he's happy as he is. If I were living in a place like Colombia or some place where I had like, you know, like a big ass yard and I don't know, like the whole vibe, maybe it's just excuses, but right now I'm not getting another dog. I'd love to, but I don't think it's in me. I kind of want to recreate what I did for Copa America, like my eyes, but it feels kind of complicated. Maybe I'll just try a little bit. Okay, I wanted your advice on this next question because somebody asked. Advice for when you and your husband don't see eye to eye about things. Give him a real answer though.
I break down into a fit of rage.
Oh my God,
and
I knew it.
I scream, ah, why? Are you different from me? And then I kick Jupiter and then I run upstairs and that's it.
People will use that against you.
Yeah, it's not real. You don't see eye to eye.
About things.
I mean, I think you have to lay out what the disagreement is and then talk about why there is a difference in the way that you see things and then think about it like logically. Say that the disagreement was like a trip somewhere. We'd have to talk about why we should or shouldn't go and then see the differences. Lay it out and then try to be convincing. The other person maybe.
So be manipulative?
Not manipulative, no, convincing as to like why you see it differently.
Yeah, interesting.
You have a hair on your eye.
Can you help me?
Can you close it? Can you close? Wait. I got it.
Oh, thank God. For me, I think that it depends. Like, is it something that is impacting you and your circle of people, or is it something that you can kind of be okay with? So like, for example, I'll give you an example, right? So like my husband, right? My husband, he's not religious. And it's always been kind of, not a struggle, but just like something that's been painful for me to deal with. I feel like I would just give myself more pain if I allowed all that to, like if I put all that pressure on myself to change my situation. I really just put it onto God and I'm like, that's on you, man. That's your battle. That ain't mine. Or, but like Dennis was saying, I guess if we're speaking more like day-to-day things that you don't see, like for example, oh my gosh, why am I the only one cleaning this house? You know? No. Communicate with your person and be like, here's what's going on. Here's how I'm feeling. This isn't fun. We both live here. Let's figure out roles. And just like be very straight up. My biggest advice though is like not brushing things under the rug because that stuff gets real dusty and it eventually comes out and you don't want it to come out in a moment where you don't want it to come out. Deal with things is what I really advise. Deal with it. Deal with it. Do not be afraid. A bit intrusive, but why don't you post as much or are consistently on YouTube anymore? Oh, a bit intrusive. There's a lot of reasons why, honestly. Okay, one, I really fell out of love with YouTube. I don't necessarily feel like it's because short form content became kind of like started dominating more. I don't really feel like that's the case. For me personally, it was just that I was really sick and tired of what I was doing. You know, when you've been doing this for some time, I feel like 10 years on YouTube, that is a lifetime online. That's truly how I feel because digital years were just like, bam. I feel like that's one. I wasn't really happy with the content that I was making. I felt like I just needed a refresher. So I took a step back. I started working on other projects, which is, honestly, you guys haven't seen a lot of what is coming, but my next baby, really, the baby I'm having is offline human. I'm very passionate about setting boundaries with your online versus offline life. I'm very passionate with, I mean, mental health goes into it, but just your own sanity and just what is healthy for your mind, not constantly being connected. And I think more than ever, we're in a time where we really need that. And when possible, those boundaries need to be set. So I'm really excited for a lot of the products that are gonna come out. We have the tea, as I mentioned. We have a journal, which I've been really excited. I've been like lightly mentioning it as well. And so YouTube just, not that I don't want it to be my focus. You guys, I don't care. I'm just gonna say it. I'm writing a book. Yeah, I don't know how that's happening. I literally prayed to God. I was like, I don't know if I could do this. So much went down. It took like 2 years for that contract to finally come to play. And then the day that I was like, I literally got down on my knees. I was like, God, do you want this or don't you? Take it away or make it happen. And I got the contract that afternoon. And now I'm writing a book. Now half my manuscript is due in September. So that's what's going on. So I've been doing a lot of like outside projects, and I don't know, I've just been really kicking it with like short form content. It's been really fun for me. It's been invigorating. It's been really cool connecting with a lot of you from before. I just feel like a lot of people just aren't on YouTube in the way that they were before, and that's okay. Like, it's fun to play around with these new mediums of communication, and it's also just really fun to know that I can always come back to this. Like, how special, you know? So that's nice. How did you learn to manage all your responsibilities? I love your videos, girly. Oh girl, oh girl. I honestly feel like if I'm gonna be 100% with you, it's a constant battle, but I have gotten really good at systemizing life, okay? So here's what I mean. My days that are really sacred to me are my Sundays. Why? Because I literally plan my entire week. What are the tools that I utilize? It's very simple. I'm an old school gal. A notebook and a planner. A notebook, the Best Me journal. A planner, a regular schmegular planner. Best Me journal, I make sure I tackle like reflections. What's working in these categories of life? Career, faith, relationships. There's like 6 other ones that are a template in the Best Me journal. I make sure I'm always observing like what are the celebrations for the day, because that stuff is really important. I feel like it's all really in there. It's like a nice condensed system. But the main ones that I utilize in the Best Me journal are the today worksheet. So it keeps me really on lock on like what am I doing hour by hour. It's really great. I make sure I always plan that the night before. And Best Me routine. So making sure I am following up on like my habits for the morning and my night routine. I feel like that's really ideal and important for me. And then just like reflecting at the end of the month. Those are the things I do. And then every week, Dennis and I have a little meeting. We call it Week at a Glance. That's more of our work week meeting. And it helps just to really align because I work with him. So I work with him and then with Sabina, my assistant. And so we're constantly just looking at like, okay, this is what the week's focus is. Here are our goals. Dennis and myself, we have one called Marriage Monday, which I think is such a cute name, by the way. And I actually took this from Creating with Lucy. Her and her husband sit down every single Monday. And it's just some time to, it's different from like a date night. They kind of, I think, do it like a date. But for me, it's more like, okay, what are we both tackling together? How are we splitting roles? And I think that just helps you live like just an easier life. You know, life can be really tricky. There's a lot thrown at you. I know recently, like we've had a lot of issues with like certain family members and like their health and stuff like that. So life can feel very off balance when you're not like in line with yourself and everything that you want to get done and have to get done. Those are the 2 tools that I utilize. I also just want to give a little disclaimer that it will be different for you if you have like ADHD or things like that, which I do, by the way. I got diagnosed last year, and that was a really big turning point in my life. It just made me realize like, oh my gosh, no wonder I'm always so overwhelmed. It really made me understand myself. So I'm constantly tweaking, I'm constantly working it. Those things have really helped me a lot. What has made you the happiest this year? Traveling, relationships, being alone. Honestly, I would say it's been offline time. My digital detox days, time away from this world, really, truly, like just like being present, being in the moment, really enjoying, savoring what is, you know, all of those little moments of just like, I mean, boredom, to be honest, and just the sweetness of doing nothing. There's nothing to accomplish, there's nothing to document. It's just me, myself, my life, and I've enjoyed that. Like, that's given me a lot of fulfillment, and it's also just given me permission to live my life. I think a lot of times we don't give ourselves that permission anymore, especially if you're in this field of work, or even if you're an aspiring content creator. It becomes like a hamster wheel. It's like very cyclical in that way where you're just like, oh my gosh, constant. And then it's like, wait a second, time just flies by. And I experienced that myself, like really going so hard at this career. Like, this is not what I'm gonna think about at the end of my life. Like in my deathbed, like, is this hustle really adding anything to my life? And it wasn't. So it's taking that step back. And you know what's really cool? Yesterday, Dennis and I started watching the documentary by Simone Biles. And that was so interesting. Just seeing how she just like stepped away in a moment that was so pivotal and everybody just like needed her. Sometimes you have to do that, and I do think we all use a little bit more help in that area when it comes to just online life and boundaries. There's a lot coming for Offline Humans. If you haven't checked us out on IG, check us out. I'm excited. I don't know. I know it's gonna be a long process. Like, it isn't where I want it to be, and that's okay. And I'm also taking my time. It's fine. We're moving on to the list for this perfect next question. How did your first kiss go? Ooh. I'm sure I've mentioned this on the podcast that my first kiss was the worst thing I've ever dealt with in my entire life. Story short, or if you don't watch the podcast every Friday, the man just stuck his tongue in me and did whatever he wanted. And the whole bus saw it. And I was disgusted. And that was the end of that. And that was truly my first kiss. Wasn't lovely. It was intense. So aggressive. Like, for what reason? You know what I mean? I don't think about that. That's really in the back of my mind, burned to the core of a memory. How was yours? Comment below. All right. How do I feel about being on YouTube for so long? Okay, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I went to like a podcast the other day, and some of the questions she was like, which by the way, I would love for you guys to listen to this podcast, because I think it's like podcasts are a new side of me, especially when I'm being interviewed. Like, I speak more to the business and just the feelings behind all of this. It is really, really crazy when people are like, you're an OG YouTuber. And I'm like, what? What an honor, because girl, like OG for me, I guess, was like Michelle Phan and like, you know, all the other girls. And it's crazy to think about how long I've been doing this for. So how does it feel? It feels really cute. Cute, iconic. It just feels really sweet. It's even sweeter when you guys are all grown up. Like, I will never, ever, 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 ever forget the first girls that I met when I did like my first meet and greet. They're so cute. Maybe I'll put a picture of them here, but if you girls are still around, oh my God, I want to recreate this picture with you. It's just so cute. Oh, actually, that's so crazy, because it so happened that I think like 2 years after that occurred, one of the girls like met me again. She's like, hey, like I went to your first meet and greet ever. And I was like, you? And she showed me the picture. I was like, you have boobs. But she cracked up, and I was just, I don't know, it's always so cool to see you guys all grown up. Or whenever I get messages of like, you know, like I just graduated high school, or I'm literally graduating college, or I have my own kids now, Natalie, like wow, that's special. It's really special. How do you find confidence within yourself? Huge fan. I don't know. I answer that one. I don't really know. How do I find confidence within myself? Confidence is just something that's built daily, I feel, right? And I have never been more confident in myself than I am now. I also think it comes with age. So I think like if you don't feel like you're there yet, it's okay. Some of the most insecure literally years of my life were my teenage years. Like, that is hard. Just like day by day, I really do think affirmations are really powerful. Staring at yourself in the mirror and being like, yes, you are incredible, you are amazing, you are whatever, fill in the blank. Like, literally fill it in right now, down below in the comments. Sometimes we don't do that enough, and it takes us believing in us first. Sometimes others will believe in you first, but like, it really starts with us. So I think doing all that stuff is it does more than what you think. You know what I mean? Do people use highlighter anymore? I don't even know. Maybe doing more productivity videos. Oh, I don't know. Like, I don't think I'll be doing more how-to videos anymore. I think I'm pretty much done with that for some time. But yeah, like day in my life, like what I do personally, how I can speak to that. I do like that stuff. I personally love to watch that. So, were you unsure, having doubts about starting YouTube? Always and forever. And it's really crazy because I tell my friends, well, I have one girl. I have a girlfriend. Her name is Eliza. She's also my cousin, but we're literally like homies, right? And she's been wanting to start a channel for freaking years. And I'm like, girl, please, could you just do it already? Yes, I was afraid to start a channel. I do remember like praying to God as well and just like feeling that nudge. You know, the more you think about things, sometimes you just really have to jump. I'll figure it out. Like, oh, maybe I don't like this. Like, for example, for me, when I first, I had a podcast prior to the one that I have now. And I will say, I've never been like a podcast hosting girly, because even Dennis really runs the podcast. But when I did it by myself, I realized I tried it, you know, I never thought back on it, and I was like, I really don't like this. It's worth trying, and then being like, okay, at least I tried it. Yeah, I don't like it. I feel like I'm basically done, but I'm gonna answer a little bit more. Do you wish you had someone like yourself on the internet to grow up to? That is very sweet. And I will say I did. I had a lot of girls, and I think that there was this interview that I saw, I think it was like Anthony Alija, and he brought this guy on, which I never watched him growing up, but what I thought was cool is he kind of reflected on like the impact that other people on the internet have had on his life. And he put it into, oh, it's perfect, the way that he said it. I'll butcher it. He basically was just like, you know, I've had people come up to me and they're literally like, you saved my life. Like, sometimes you hear that and you're like, nah. You're like, straight up, no. Like, what do you mean I saved your life, you know? But I have felt that with others. It's just this feeling of friendship, and I don't even know. It's like exciting. Like I remember being so young and waiting for like my favorite YouTuber to upload, and it was just this feeling of excitement in your life that maybe with the mundaneness of life or just an ungrateful heart, you're not really able to see the beauty of your own life. That's why I love YouTube still. That's why I still do it, because it's like, it's really feels like a home to me, and you guys really feel like my friends. So Aye. Let's do a little speed run. What books do you recommend? How can I speed run that one? Girl. But one that I recently read was it's by Melissa Urban. It's the Book of Boundaries. Oh, I really love that book. Pins so many different things. It's absolutely fantastic. I recommend that one. What's your biggest passion behind vlogging? I don't know if I'm actually passionate about vlogging. I do really love, like sometimes I'll like look back at some of the vlogs that Dennis and I had on our vlog channel, which is now our podcast channel. And it's so sweet to look back on. And you're like, oh my God, that was the way my room was decorated. Oh my God, that's where I was at that time in my life. That's how I did my hair, my makeup. My sister was there. It's like a little time capsule on the internet, and you can just access it at any time. So I think that's really special. I know I'll look back at this whenever I have kids, or I don't know, when I'm much older, and I'm gonna be like, wow. You know, it takes you back. It really does. I admire how you handle work with ADHD. How do you stay organized and on task? Any tips? Yes, like I said, maybe I should actually do a follow-up video, because I have really ace this. It's just like my planning schedule, like my Best Me journal and my planner. Just wait for the new book, the physical. We might do a digital, I'm not really sure, but because I feel like the old one is lacking a lot. So if you bought the old one, it's great, but the new one, is really it. If you guys are interested, I'll do a little follow-up on that. Were you ever nervous and scared to get married? Had any second thoughts? Yes, I was absolutely scared to get married. I was actually scared more so for like God's confirmation, but God did give me confirmation through a vision. Yeah, I know I sound like a lunatic, but I received my first vision and it was crazy. I actually saw Dennis like standing there, and the crazy part about all this, I'll touch on it really quickly, but the crazy part was that Dennis originally was supposed to wear a completely different suit, like a color suit. He wanted to go with like a gray suit or like a lighter color, I think. And in my vision, he was wearing black, but like he straight up turned around, like it was like Titanic, like the scene where he like turns around. He turned around and there was like this beautiful stairway behind him. And what's crazy is a few weeks after, we end up going like scouting for the wedding venues, and I see that same staircase and I'm like, this is the spot. And even crazier, Dennis did not end up going with the gray suit. He went with the black suit, just like in my vision. What is your relationship with God? How did you maintain a relationship with life when it gives you doubts? A few things, just like right off the bat. Community is really important. So how do you have community? Is literally find a church, find a friend group. So like what I do recently, I've actually been hosting a Bible study at my house, which is crazy. I never thought I'd be doing anything like that. Here I am doing it. I've also learned recently at church that the way that we communicate to God is through prayer, and the way that he communicates to us is through like the Bible. And so make sure that you're reading the Bible. I know it's super intimidating. I know it really is. And I would just say like always have something backing it up to help you. So like for example, not saying that like you should rely on a show, but The Chosen is a really great show to start and kind of like understand who Jesus is, and it's so beautiful. It's really touching. I recommend it. Something you wish you knew in life before that you know now. Am I becoming my parents? I remember my parents would always be like, life is hard. And I was like, can you guys not say that? Like, why do you have to say that? But I think there was an element of naiveness to me, especially prior to my niece, where I was like, nothing bad will happen to a good person. And unfortunately, that's just not the case. Bad things do happen to good people. And I don't know, it's like a hard thing to hear. I don't know where I want to go with that. I'm not in the inspo. I don't know. I guess life is life. How's the physical journal coming along? Girl, it's coming along. We received the last sample from what happened at Copa America. Did you like the experience? It was freaking awesome. I was living, girl. I was living. Tips for teenage girls struggling with body issues and insecurities. Just know that literally even the prettiest girl, you know, struggles. That's the unfortunate thing, is like we always think the grass is greener on the other side. Sometimes the grass really is greener on your side. I wish I would have been able oh girl, what happened there? I wish I would have been able to like speak to my younger self who wanted breast implants so bad. And if you know my story, you know that I did end up going through with it, and then I ended up removing it years later. Sometimes you just have to go through things, because even if I were to sit down with that girl and be like, this is what I went through, trust me, like don't get them done, she would still do it. She had to learn. So sometimes it's a part of life. It's okay to also feel insecure about things. Any exciting things happening in August? We're going to Colombia. Hey, Medellin. We're going for a wedding. I'm quite excited. It's gonna be fun. Oh, we're going to I think we're going to Cartagena. So the beach is gonna be fun. Stay connected, girl. What part of Colombia are you from? So my family's from Armenia, which Dennis likes to say it's a little ass pueblito. It's not. It's the second largest tourism place. It's where coffee is. You can go and discover so much about coffee, so no it ain't. And then Dennis is from Medellin. What is a random skill you've always wanted to learn? Something you've never tried. Oh, something I've never tried. Random skill. Okay, this one really got me because language learning, I really want to learn Japanese. Learning to do a freaking backflip. That'd be pretty cool. What's your most memorable experience on YouTube? I will never forget Tour Life. It was cray. There was a specific night where it was the first night where we came out. It was the music. It was the way you guys were looking at me. It was all the gifts you were pouring, all the love. I cried and I crashed. I was literally I cannot believe people paid money to come here. It wasn't really about the money, more about just the experience of what? You putting a name to a face. You know what I mean? User number, blah, blah, blah. And then it's you're that person. I promised myself I would start writing this book. I have a deadline, right? If I have to do that, I'm actually gonna be going later after work to write. And then I'm going to pop Pilates because we gotta get in shape for the summer. Thank you guys for hanging out with me. Oh my God. Let me know what else you would like to see. Yeah, just let's stay connected. IG, TikTok, offline humans, the whole thing. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.